What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today, I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. I'm Cam Theory. We're with Anthony Posadas. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right, bet. We finally got him on. Long overdue. Definitely, we're supposed to be one of the first guests, on the pod, but better late than never. So excited to
all good, man. I'm glad to be
finally
here.
chop it up.
Stage name Yantee. Anthony, that's my business name. That's how I introduce myself to people. Usually either Anthony or Tony. The Yantee thing is still new to me. So that is my stage name.
Yeah. That's dope.
It's fun. It's definitely cool to see it growing.
Yeah.
Well, finally here. Thank you.
Yes.
Taking time out your day.
Yeah.
I mean, means a lot. I mean, it's been in the works for a minute now, but timing and all that. We've had some differences, but hey.
Everyone does.
Yeah. So hey, it's finally here.
Yeah.
It's finally happening.
Yep.
Like you said, better late than never. Glad you're here.
Exactly. Glad to be here.
I mean, we're talking about it. Yesterday? We've known each other since like 2009, 2010.
I don't even know what year it was.
It was something like that. Because when did Modern Warfare 2 come out?
Pretty sure 09.
So since 09.
Yeah, because it was Modern Warfare with 07, World at War, Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. So 09.
09.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2. That was the first. First Call of Duty game I ever got. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Mine was the first, like, Modern Warfare.
Mine
Not
was
the first
COD
one,
4.
but the COD 4.
Yeah.
it was Modern Warfare.
Yeah, but we played that. He was on Xbox. So I don't know, at that time, I don't know how 360 worked, but I know y'all got achievements, but like on the PlayStation, I had the trophies.
Yeah, trophies.
And then there's like different trophies. A lot of them was like platinum.
Yeah,
and like that's how you like all the
bronze,
trophies.
silver, gold, platinum.
Yeah, but you like all the trophies for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was like the first game he got his like platinum on was like Modern Warfare 2. And we did all the co-op challenges together.
The special ops and stuff. Yeah.
Like I think you could even look up like what task you had to do.
You had to look up what task you had to do. Yeah.
And some of those were hard.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it was fun. Known each other for a minute.
Yeah, a long time. I think it was like 6th grade that I met you.
Seventh.
Like that, but
7th, yeah.
it was my second year when I moved to Austin. So,
Yeah. Well, give us a little backstory about yourself, where you came from to what you can do with now.
So I'm a Navy baby, so I've kind of been all over. I was born up in Seattle, lived in New Orleans for a while. But for the majority of my childhood, I grew up in Seguin, which is a small town, kind of like outskirts of Luling and San Marcos, San Antonio area, like all around there. But yeah, so I grew up like in a country town, playing in the dirt, drinking well water, just not a lot of internet and stuff out there back when I was younger. So, excuse me, need some water.
What, nervous?
Nah, I don't know. My voice ain't cracked in a while, but
It's all right. We make you nervous. All good.
yeah, no shit. You got me. Nah. Yeah. So there wasn't I didn't grow up on the internet and stuff like that. So it's crazy like nowadays seeing kids like that. But anyways, moved to Austin in 5th grade, Rumburg area. So it wasn't the nicest area, but my dad raised me by himself, so it's all he could afford. So I actually stayed in my room. Fuck.
Boy, nervous for real.
Cut. Nah, I'm not even nervous. I don't know why I did that.
Why you drinking that? The funny thing is, because my mom and dad used to stay at Frunberg too.
For real? I did not know
Yeah,
that.
this was like back in the day though. But
So
I mean,
it wasn't like
he was always with us when we were younger.
Okay.
And then I don't know where we were going or what we were doing, but we were driving somewhere. And then we're in the back seat. There's a look. I used to stay right there, and it was the same place my parents stayed at.
That's
during
crazy.
the same time.
Was that like apartment complex? Or
That was
it?
apartment.
Yeah, it's the one. It's like right off the Rumburg.
It's the one right after
the
Red
Rumburg.
Roof, right?
I think so. It's right after you pass the Rumburg exit. It's right off 35. They've changed their name like 20 times.
Yeah.
But like there's a new owner probably every other month. But yeah, ghetto apartment. So we stayed there for about a year. I did 5th grade at Barrington Elementary, I think it was called, which is like I used to walk there sometimes and ride the bus, and that's where I learned Spanish. Honestly, started learning a little bit of Spanish that and my grandma, but had a lot of Mexican friends over there, so that was fun. But then moved to Fluba area in 6th grade, and that's when
Well, y'all lived. Well, because I was gonna say y'all lived in the Flickr apartments, right?
yeah, we stayed around Pflugerville High School, like that area. So I would walk to school then. But honestly, now that I think about it, I was always walking to school.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't until you went to high school. No, your 8th grade year, you moved to Round Rock and the house.
Yeah, 8th grade is when he finally bought a house. And then I went to middle school in Round Rock and then high school in Round Rock. Graduated Cedar Ridge, so shout out Raiders.
It's just...
Yeah, other than that, I mean, throughout school and stuff like that, I was real shy. I didn't really make music. I mean, I was always hustling, always making money. I think I started my first job at 17, I think.
Yeah,
I wasn't 18
16.
yet. 16?
Yeah, because you started a little bit after me because I got you the job there.
I know that I wasn't 18 yet because I couldn't bar back yet and stuff, but shout out Topgolf. They gave me that first opportunity for a job. I remember to get the interview, actually, you have to do that
the X Factor. Yeah, they don't call it that no more. They don't even like do that anymore, I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah, I went to one of those too. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this. So all I said was, I was like, they're like, so what can you do? And I was like, I can sing a little. And I sang Thinking About You by Frank Ocean, bro. That's all I did. Like,
That's funny.
And they got me the job. So, I mean, that was funny. But yeah, I want to say around like 19 is when I started getting interested in music and the scene. Or honestly, I'd always been around that scene once I got to that age, and I started working at Topgolf just with friends and friends of friends. But I used to want to DJ, and then my friends would always have beats on that I was with and freestyle, and then they would want me to freestyle. But back then, I would always be like, nah, I don't want to. And then until finally I started to, and then from there, someone liked my voice and then offered to record me, and then the rest is history after that. Just fell in love with it. Took a few years off, not gonna lie, from like 21 to 24. I was just going through some stuff. My best friend at the time had passed away, so rest in peace to him. But I was just doing the wrong things, abusing drugs, drinking, stuff like that. So once I hit like 24, once got my baby's mother pregnant, is when I actually was like started taking stuff serious. Like, okay, I gotta step up, and music was the one thing I always loved, and that's when I got my laptop, started slowly investing into my music equipment. You know, got one speaker at a time, got the mic stand, got the mic, and then I think by like 24 and a half or somewhere around there, I finally got my own setup. And then last year is when I started recording my own music and mixing my own music. And I've always wrote my own music, but doing the whole process myself and not having to pay for studio time, which I feel like can really help an independent artist if they take the time and actually invest in themselves and get that whole studio set up. It definitely pays off in the end to be able to record it at any time and not have unnecessary cutoffs and stuff like that, because not every studio is great, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you'll run into bad studios sometimes. There are some great ones out there, but I've ran into some bad ones, and that's what honestly motivated me to build my own studio and just get all that out of the way. Because if I'm going to be spending my time, which I think time is the most valuable thing, then I'd rather make it worth it, you know, and not waste money and not like the project or the result in the end. So,
what was it that got you into music? Because like growing up, we shared the same favorite artist with Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
But like,
shout out Cudi for sure.
But like, was it just because you were just moving a lot, like as a younger kid, and that's what like that was just like your safe haven was music, or is it just something that later in life you just found out you were good at, so that's what you wanted to be around and do?
So I always liked listening to music. Sorry, I had a burp. I always liked listening to music as a kid, and then I never really looked into an artist until you showed me Kid Cudi, and that was I think 6th or 7th grade. Man on the Moon. That's the first project I ever actually like looked up and listened to and downloaded, and I would listen to it when I walked to school and stuff like that. And then from there, I just slowly would hear other artists that were either on the radio, or then I would look into them if I liked them, like Lil Wayne and just other artists that were blowing up at that time, the early 2000s. That was always like my vibe when I was younger, around that age. But honestly, I wanted to DJ when I first started, and then started freestyling and stuff like that, and then started making music. But really, hold on, I forgot the question.
Like what was it that like?
Hey, it be like that, bro. It's all
Well,
good.
what was it that like got you into music? Like, why'd you pick music? It was like something that like you just resonated when you were younger, or was it just something you just found later in life that you were good at? Like, why'd you pick music? Like, why was that your love?
Always liked it when I was younger, and then when I did find out that I was good at it, I was like, well, let me just fully invest, and that way, if I don't make it or don't do anything about it, I can only blame myself and not anyone else. But I've just always liked the lifestyle, I guess, just seeing that. I've just always wanted to, I don't know, wake up, not worry about what I'm gonna do, and performing is like a high for me almost. Like whenever I'm on stage, I feel like I turn into a different person. Like I just feed off that energy, and I love doing it. It's just something that I guess you would say I did find out later in life. Once I did open mics when I was like 19 is when I found out that I really like making music, and then around 24, 25 is when I just took it serious. But
How hard has it been for you? Because you did start late, but you also like from when you would send me songs and whatnot, and like
I used to make some trash ass shit.
it wasn't trash, but the hardest thing to begin with is like finding your voice. And I don't
Yeah.
think you found your voice yet,
Yeah.
but your pen was always decent. Obviously, it gets better over time.
Yeah.
But how hard was it to like, I guess, for people that you were hanging around that's been doing it for a while, and then you just started out? How hard was it to like catch up or like try to be on par with them?
So at first it was hard just because unfortunately in this industry everybody wants money for something, and you'll find out who your real friends are and who your fake friends are. But I ended up meeting that person that was willing to coach me and teach me knowledge, because before that it was pretty difficult, not gonna lie. That's why, like you said, my mixes, finding my voice and stuff like that, it was real hard because I was teaching myself everything at that point. Other than that, I was partying, so I was around the scene. I listened to music, but I didn't know how they were making that music. So it was really when I sat down with the local engineer. His name's Carte. Shout out him, but he actually sat me down, and I meet up with him maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and he just teaches me different things, like how to control your vocal range. He actually suggested that I get a vocal coach, which I haven't done yet, but I need to do. And he just will sit there and listen to songs, and he teaches me how they make those songs, how an industry song should sound, and how they're making those sounds. And just like knowledge like that, he just took me into a real deep dive that I never would have thought about. And nowadays when I listen to a song, I can pick out things that a lot of other people wouldn't hear, and I know every 4 bars the flow is going to switch, or their pitch should get higher, should get lower, because the song should be like a roller coaster to keep people engaged. And you'll notice that with songs on the radio and popular songs. That's what they do, and that's why they're so catchy and they get your attention, because it's all planned out, and they know what they're doing. And it's because they have people like Carte to coach them, and whether they have to pay for it or however they have to do it. Unfortunately, it's hard to get that knowledge unless you are going to pay for it. But I'm grateful that he coaches me for free. So.
Yeah, that's a tough thing too. Like with making music and meeting the artists we've met and interviewing the artists we met, especially when you first start. If you don't have that capital to fund everything, like having the studio, the equipment, and then it's so much more than just like making the song. Like if you're not producing everything, you got to get beats, you got to have an engineer. Like
you got to pay for the mixing,
all that.
You got to pay for the mastering, you got to pay for the marketing, which a lot of people don't realize, and that's why they don't get to the level that they want to be at, because they don't pay enough on the marketing side. And how I try to explain to people is you can't expect a label to invest in you if you aren't willing to invest in yourself. It just doesn't make sense. No one's going to invest into a random person that they don't know. You can have the hottest song in the world, but if nobody hears it, then what's the point?
Also, I think music's changed so much now. Like I remember when like in 2016, like SoundCloud era, you could just post a song on SoundCloud, it blows up, and then you're on in a way. But now it's like the artist, you can't just like, you basically just can't just like record your music and just post stuff. You gotta like do, like you said, with the marketing, you even got to make like content now. You just got to do stuff that's like, oh, like I might not even like the artist, but like what he's doing is cool. Like he's getting creative, so I'm gonna give him a chance.
Exactly.
That stuff's important.
Yep, and there's different ways to go about it. I mean, there's the 6ix9ine effect, you know, where you're being an asshole and getting people to hate you, but they're watching you.
Yeah.
Being the chill guy. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. But the key thing is having something that you're doing, and then also your look. They should know, like, when they see you, like, you know, obviously Lil Uzi, you think of him, you either think of the diamond he had in his hair or his dreads, or, you know, everyone has their look, and that's what will turn a person on to an artist. It's seeing that you have your shit down and in order, and you're marketing every song, you know, you have good marketing on it. The song is good quality, you don't have any shitty quality songs. That's a major thing too, is having good quality.
And side note too, like, I mean, I was just on Instagram before we started shooting, and I saw like Travis posted a few photos, and he's one of the few artists that like is a marketing genius when it comes to like roll out and release. Like nobody really does it the way he does, and I just look at him as like he's this mega superstar artist. Why aren't the smaller artists like copying that? He's literally giving you the blueprint. Like obviously he has all the resources in the world to make it happen, but it's like
he's giving you the
exactly. It's like just like
Yep.
brand yourself, and also like if you say like if, for example, you have a song that's coming out in like 2 weeks or whatever, like go get content, like go take photos, make reels, like
Videos,
trailers, all that.
TikToks nowadays, even though I never had TikTok until I started making music. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it, but
Bro,
and to make media,
you just have to have
make
it.
media, you need it. So I made it, and now nowadays I try to put out a single every 2 weeks.
That's good.
And then I promote the shit out of it prior to, and like you said, I shoot content. I'll find different ways to get it out there, whether it's got to be through ads on Instagram or stuff like that, or just getting creative with it. That's just thinking outside the box, which is something I'm still learning, to be honest, but doing it yourself and being independent can take a little while, but thankfully I've been doing a lot better lately at it.
Yeah.
So been learning a lot more, learning a lot quickly, and getting coached by some people knowledgeable in the game. So that definitely helps.
That's
more
like
people
the hard part about being an artist that a lot of people also don't talk about is how much money is
that's
involved
a shit ton of money.
in being an artist.
If I-
And that's also why a lot of artists do what they do as a side job or a side hustle, if you will,
Yeah,
because that's the quickest way to
quick money.
pay the bills to like make it.
And you still have a shitload of time with that type of like lifestyle. Like you can make the money quick, and you also don't have to like clock in.
Exactly.
I mean, there's very few artists who like make it that don't
That
live
are
that
working
lifestyle.
9 to 5.
Yeah, that don't make that lifestyle. Cause
Yeah.
when you look, I mean, Thug, Lil Baby,
Yeah.
Future,
Future,
Lil Wayne, probably did Maxo. I mean,
like everyone.
that, yeah.
Probably one of the only major ones that wasn't
like
really
Drake, Cole,
Yeah.
maybe Kendrick. He doesn't.
Kendrick.
I don't think
he
so.
He was around it, but I
don't think he did anything.
did
Yeah.
he was just like gifted.
If
Like
you listen
he,
to his music,
yeah.
like he explains it in some of his early stories. That's honestly one of the first like rappers that I really got into. And I would listen to his what was that early mixtape that he
Section 80.
that and then overly
Overly dedicated.
Yes,
Yeah.
Section 80,
Well,
overly dedicated. I think the first song I heard was ADHD. Or,
Yeah, that's on
That's
Section
on
80.
overly. That's
Or-
on overly dedicated.
No, overly dedicated is the black one.
I mean, Section 80.
Section 80.
Section 80.
That's on
Sorry.
Section
Yeah.
80. Is ADHD, and then there was another one too. Is that ADHD, or is everybody put 3 fingers in the
No, that's High Power.
High Power?
Yeah, that's on
High
that's on
Power
Good
is
Kid
where
or
I think that was the
Sing About
second
Me.
one. Yeah, the second one that I heard, and then I was like, okay, like who the fuck is this? Like,
damn. I'm finna have to go listen to some Kendrick after this for
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
It's been a minute.
I mean, to me, that is the best rap album ever.
Oh, no.
To me, The Good Kid, Mad City. To me, that is the best rap album ever.
Every project he's rolled out so far has not disappointed whatsoever. And
Yeah.
the marketing's
And it's been
great,
different.
and it's always different. Exactly. And I think I either saw a podcast or read somewhere that originally he wanted his first albums to be like To Pimp a Butterfly, but he didn't think people were gonna fuck with that, so that's why he came out like, you know,
And that was a phenomenal
Section
album.
80, and exactly. But if he wasn't who he was at that point, that was the first album he came out with, and people may not have perceived it as well as they did with him.
He probably did the right thing. I don't think.
Yeah, he definitely did the right thing.
I don't think To Pimp a Butterfly would have like done what a Good Kid, Mad City did.
It wasn't the right time.
Yeah, it wasn't the right time for it.
Yeah, because I mean,
Good Kid, Mad City. Oh my God, that's high school for me. Like that's.
You just see the album and you just feel it.
Nostalgia. And the cool thing too
Nostalgia,
with these
exactly.
artists is like example, like Uzi just dropped Pink Tape, and all these artists, you have to kind of like build up your fan base and also like kind of like be like have your staple sound, because when you try different stuff like Playboi Carti trying like making a whole lot of red, and all these artists making like all these different sounding projects where you're like, well, that's way completely left from the spectrum. They do that because they're true artists. They like want to try stuff, but at the same time, you just can't like. Not everything's gonna gravitate with everyone, but if you can develop that core sound, and I think a lot of artists, like, at least from like some of my friends that make music, like I think it's really important to like find your sound, master that one sound or two sounds that you have, lock in, and then whenever you have that fan base and you know like, oh, this might not be what all my fans like, but I can put it out because some fans might like it. Or a genre of people that are new to me might be like, oh, I like you for this type of music, but you know, like you won't lose your core fans, but you can at least like experiment. I think a lot of artists like experiment a little too early before they like, you know,
before they actually find. And that's it's good that you bring up that point, because that's another note that I learned from Carte. Is he taught me to make music that appeal to women. Because if women show up to your show, then, you know, us being men, we're naturally going to follow.
Gonna go.
No, for sure.
I'm going where the O's are. You know?
Yeah.
So he taught me that, and that completely changed my mindset. And that's when I made like Forever and Crazy and stuff like that. But then I also have my songs like Fuck Up a Check and songs that I know that I can perform at a club and people are going to turn up. But then I think about, okay, what if I'm performing at a stadium or a family event? Okay, I need to have songs to be able to perform there too that don't have any cuss words, and that's why I've made songs like that, like Opposites Attract and Crazy, and so I try to make sure that none of my songs sound the same. That's something that I work on, like you said, finding my sound and then just being confident in it, and then when I do experiment a little, not making it too far to the left to where people are like, who the fuck is this? Like, this isn't Yantee. Like,
It's nice to like not have all your songs sound the same, because I said it earlier, like Maxo, like he's good. But he got old quick because he just sounds the same and all his music is just the same.
Yeah, and that's what sucks with a lot of artists that, you know, do have talent and you have songs that you fuck with, but when they all sound the same after a while, then it just I like to listen to different things. I mean, I'll switch up from country. Now I listen to country music. I used to hate it.
Yeah, you used to hate country music.
Yeah, so
shout
now
country.
I'll switch up from country to rap to, you know, old school R&B to maybe some cumbia or something like that.
I feel like as an artist, like you have to do that though.
Yeah.
You just like have to find just.
You want to take your craft seriously.
Yeah, you just have to do that.
And you
got
gotta-
just different samples from different whatever.
Yep.
pulling inspirations from all kind of genres. Because I mean,
Look at Drake. He
yeah,
does it
all the time.
He's
And
the king of that shit.
exactly. And music is so subjective. Like, there's not like technically, yes, there is bad artists and there is like not great genres, but like everything does. If it does sound good sonically, then like you can learn from it and you can listen to it and then influence it into your, you know, into your music and your craft, and then like kind of take your favorite elements from each one and make what you like. So
And that's, I mean, I literally said that to him earlier. Like music is just so subjective, but that's like the beautiful thing about music is like it is subjective. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean he's not gonna like it. Doesn't mean he's gonna like it or not like it. Doesn't mean he's gonna like it or not like it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. That's why Uzi was able to do what he's gonna do because
he has that solid fan base.
He has that solid fan base, and it's like some people are gonna like it, some people aren't.
Exactly, but either way, probably with him, more people are gonna like it.
More like
he's
it
gonna
than
make
not.
money off of it
Yep.
because he rolled it out the right way, and marketing is key.
Yep.
Definitely in this game, he has great marketing. I think I saw he had he made some type of video for it whenever he rolled it out.
yeah, it's like a anime like
Yeah.
movie scene
it was
type
crazy.
deal.
I was like,
Yeah, that's
wow,
dope.
that was definitely a high budget.
Yeah.
For sure.
One question I've always wanted to ask you, but I have two questions I've always wanted to ask you, but I specifically said them for this podcast. How did you come up with the name Yantee?
That's a funny story. So one of my old friends from high school, he's actually someone that I used to make music with, and he got me into music and used to get me to freestyle and stuff. I don't know if he's still making music or not. But we were drunk one night and we were chilling, and before I used to go by CWG Tony or some shit like that. I don't remember. I think that's what it was.
It was that.
Yeah. So we were sitting there one night and we were fucked up, and he had a different name too. And then he was just like, "Bro, we need different names. Like, we need different names, blah blah." And he was like, and I was like, "Okay, well, what about Young Tony?" And he was like, "Young Tony, no." He's like, "Young Tony, Yantee. What about Yantee?" So honestly, he came up with it, and I was just like, And it just stuck in my head, and fucking took it from there. That was probably when I was like 19. So
Yeah, that's fire because you can like add like the accent on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. So like I'm reading your YouTube, and like it looks like you have a label as well.
Cut you off.
Yeah.
I'll cut you off real quick, but still need to get my shirt from you. That's besides the point. But yeah. Anyways, keep
Bro,
going.
you should have texted me.
I just
before
remember
this.
when I saw custom clothing, I was like, wait, my
I
shirt.
literally have it hung up, like waiting, like right there on top of my closet. Fuck.
Yeah, if I don't get it, I don't get it. If somebody else
Nah,
buys
you
it,
got
they can buy it.
It's there.
Hey,
It's sitting there.
I support it. That's all. That's all that matters.
It's
Yeah,
sitting there.
I saw your hoodies. I got a caught one,
Yeah.
but nah, like so you have a label, CutWGold.
Cut with gold.
Cut with gold.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
so
fire.
That's how you pronounce it.
Okay,
That's
cut
why,
with
yeah,
gold.
some people don't. They probably think it's just
Yeah.
cut W gold, but yeah, it's cut with gold.
Okay.
So I want to make that. Really, my main thing was a clothing brand. But then, like I was telling DB, who came, he's a local producer. I want to give an opportunity for independent artists to be able to grow, and producers, other rappers, other people with talent that are willing to work with each other and be coachable and just want to learn and want to blow up and want to grow together as a team.
Yeah.
That's where the label part comes
Got
in.
you.
So that's where I came up with that idea for that, to help local artists get bigger.
What's the meaning behind cut with gold?
Honestly,
Because that's been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to name names, but as the people down at the UT, right?
Nah, same buddy that I was drunk with and came up with the Yantee name. Originally, like back in high school, we came up with that together. And then me and him just sort of fell off. So he just told me one day that he didn't want to do it or like didn't care for it. So that's when I was like, okay, well, I'll run with it, like whatever. And that's when I just started doing everything solo. It's probably like 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say. But I think I just rolled the website out this year. It hasn't even been that
recently.
long. Yeah. So I'm still slowly working on it, still slowly tweaking it. You'll see some changes every now and then. I have a lot of designs unreleased that I'm actually looking for local screen printers that are willing to work with me. And then that way I can get more product out. And I want to do print on demand, where they print up the clothing whenever people order it, or is that what it's called? Print on demand?
I don't know exactly what it's called.
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know what you're talking about.
Like where they make the clothing as it's bought. So you don't have to hold on to a bunch of shirts that are just sitting in your closet. Like,
I don't know if they
as it goes.
can, but we might be able to help you out.
Yeah, I might be able to hook you up.
I just don't know how all that works.
The only thing too, and that it's cool to kind of talk about clothing because we're starting to get into merch as well, and
which
it's
is
super
a
important.
Major thing. If
Yeah.
you're independent. That's where
Your money
as an
comes from.
That's where a majority of your payment comes for sure. As far as as well as performances and stuff like that. You don't really make your money off your streams. You get your fans off your streams, but
And
yeah, it
merch
all
is so
comes from
important,
merch,
like because
yeah.
you could literally like, for example, one of my artists that I like growing up, and I showed him Fora. He literally has like a $5 million merch revenue from his clothing brand, Yours Truly, and it's like he makes great music, like fantastic music. But the fact that he has, you could see his clothing brand and just think like, oh, this is a clothing brand. Like, you wouldn't even know it's like connected with him. And then for example, like Mike, like he has Stevenson Ranch, like that's a clothing brand. You look at that, it's like this is a dope like hat clothing brand. I don't even know it's related to Mike, but it's like he's making money from like basically a whole other entity that's like a company.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that's what I want to do with CutWGold, where it's not necessarily related to Yantee. Like, I want to eventually get a separate team to do all that.
Exactly.
But, that's why the clothing that I do make, I want to start making ones that are like, independent, or, stuff that people can relate to, that no matter whether they know me or not, they can be like, oh, well, I'm independent, or have some other ones too that I can't think of right now, but that you can relate to, like, oh, well, I do that. Whatever, that independent people can relate, not independent, but
That's kind of what we're
just in
trying.
general.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to do too with like our clothing. Like have that be like a funnel. Like basically, someone sees that clothing brand, and like, oh, this is dope. I like the clothes, whatever. Buy it, and then they're like, oh, these people make videos. Like, let me go check that out. And vice versa. And then it just funnels each other.
Exactly.
You know.
And just getting multiple streams of eventually passive income, which
Yeah.
is my end game.
Yeah.
I want to just have different passive
Passive
which
incomes coming in.
Finally got my first one from the streaming.
Oh yeah, bro.
I haven't made a crazy amount, but I'm almost at $100, so that's
That's something, bro.
that's
You
big
know,
for me
I
off
mean,
of now I'm
something
just-
you created too.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Off of, I don't have to do anything anymore. It's out there, and I didn't realize people are listening to my music on like Tidal, TikTok. I'm getting paid on there too, and then YouTube. I use United Masters, so they distribute it everywhere for me.
Okay.
I pay them like $60 a year or some shit like that. Mad cheap.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've used a few. I've used Distro too. They're all right, but I would say United Masters is more up to date, especially for rappers. I feel like they give you a lot of opportunities, like free opportunities to submit your music for like ESPN and different promotions that they'll do, and it'll say the qualifications and stuff like that, and you just have to submit your song, and if they like it, then they'll.
Is that how you got that Netflix thing?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I
so
got
it's
reached
from-
out for
okay.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
that's cool because I've never heard of United Masters, but we had another music group on Try Mafia, and they were saying like a lot
Do
of
they
art.
use United Masters?
I don't know if they use them, but they were just saying like a lot of artists don't think outside the box. Like they just like post these songs everywhere. They like reach out to like shows because like they make music that you watch like All American, like they're on All American, like
no,
that
Try
type of
Mafia is
music.
dope.
Yeah,
Actually, I've been talking with them recently.
yeah. Tell them we say hey, we
Yeah,
can
no,
connect
we're
y'all.
supposed to be making a song.
Yeah.
They just said I have to have the right marketing,
Yeah,
course, and have a
of
good
course.
rollout strategy.
Yeah.
But they said they were down, which is really dope. So I'm looking forward to that. I've actually got a producer working on a beat specifically for them, and then I said that I'd basically I want to match their flow or their sound or whatever.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like I can ride any beat. It's just whatever mood I'm in or however the beat sounds, and I'll match the beat basically. Like as far as my sound.
That brings me to my second question that I've been wanted to ask you. You kind of said it earlier, but have you ever thought about like making a lot more music that doesn't have cussing? So A, you can put it on shows,
Yeah.
and B, so you have more of a. It's just easier to have a bigger audience from that. The kids could listen to it, teenagers listen to it. You can with your parents and whatnot.
So being a father and having a daughter, that's one thing that I definitely thought about. And then just thinking, like, whenever I go to some venues, like I used to go to a lot of open mics because I would just try to perform anywhere I could perform for free. And I would notice some of the venues, it's either a majority Caucasian crowd or, kids are there and stuff like that. And at the time, I only had rap songs, they all had cussing. So I was like, man, I don't really would feel comfortable performing this in front of them. So that's when I made the decision to, you know what, I need to have songs that don't have cuss words that I can perform anywhere for any crowd. And then I can have my songs that I can perform in a club and turn people up too at the same time. So that's why if you look at my catalog, it's about half and half. And I know the songs that I can perform in front of any crowd, and then I know the ones that I'll perform at a club and get that shit turned up real quick.
Because I feel like it's a lot harder and it takes a lot more skill to write a song without a cuss word than it is
Exactly.
to write one with a cuss
Takes
word.
more time, and I usually look for a more poppier beat because when I was younger, I used to listen to radio all the time, and Akon was a big influence
Yeah.
on me. Kid Cudi was the biggest, but he wasn't on the radio too much. But Akon was on there a lot, and then just all those artists that were coming out at the same time. I can't
So the
remember, but it was-
2000s.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot of auto-tune, singing, and T-Pain, like all that shit. Like I fell in love with that sound and just always wanted to make music like that. which is crazy because majority of my family listen to like the Southern Chopped and Screwed. Shout out Acting Bad.
Well, it's just that was their time though.
Yeah,
Because like even
exactly they grew up with that.
even then like Houston rap, like Southern rap, it's not that anymore.
Yeah, but it's coming back a little bit. Like I said, Acting Bad, they're doing their thing for sure. There's a few of them out there definitely hustling, like Baby Rose. Fuck my voice. Like Baby Rose, P Killa, EC Main, Young Clean. They got a solid team. Mixotic Fresca, I think that's like their management and stuff.
Is it Mexican OT from Houston too?
Yeah, he was actually. So I'll be performing on the Bricks this Saturday.
Okay.
Which the Mexican OT just performed on.
Yeah.
I'm doing like that on there. So
Yeah.
they had me send them 4 or 5 songs, and they're like, if we like one, then we'll reach out to you, and they liked that, which is ironic, but. Yeah, so I'll be performing that one this Saturday at 1 p.m. So that'll be dope.
It'll be fire.
It's gonna be a fire opportunity to have that on there. And
Yeah.
shit, so.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say because David Kunalokai, David Redmond.
David.
You-
I know a few Davids.
Well, he worked at Top Golf with
tall?
this skinny with the
Skinny
little
tall-
dreads. He always hung out. He hangs out with Mike D.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because he makes music that doesn't have cuss or
Kunalakai.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's
He's
dope.
he with
Yeah,
the Oscar
Yes,
Blues.
Yeah, I met him at Oscar Blues.
Yeah. So all his music, no cussing, but he makes
great
phenomenal music.
Yeah, he's really
I
good.
told him actually in person because he usually mixes over there for them at
Mm-hmm.
Oscar. And I was like, hey, man, I just want you to know you make amazing music. Like, if you had the right marketing and, like, music videos and stuff, you could probably, like, do it really
For
good.
sure.
But he definitely makes great music. I feel that's where CutWGold would come in. Like, I want to help artists like that may not have the funds at the time or the opportunity. Well, maybe I have a little extra money and I can get you. I have a studio, that you can record for free, and I can put a little marketing behind it. And if you're willing to work and put the time in, then let's make some money together and grow.
Well,
Well,
what were we gonna ask?
A lot of points. I wasn't really gonna ask anything. Just mainly since too, like talking about like helping artists. Like you talked about making a team. You have with Golds and trying to build up your team, your label. Yeah. We talk about it all the time, and just the artists in Austin. Like we ask this question with everyone. Like, why is the scene here not big in? And it's like they got to work together. And even for us, like since we've interviewed so many artists and we like have naturally friends that make music that we're really close with. Whenever we open up a studio, like one of my best friends came in, he mixes, masters, produces all his own music, and he makes good music too. But he also is getting to the point in his life to where he just wants to help people like with their music. He just wants to make money from the music in whatever way possible. If that's being like the tool to help somebody make the music, and he's like takes a step back from his own artistry. Exactly. He's cool with that. So whenever we do get a spot in the by next year, we plan on opening up a studio there and basically just like having that as a home for people we know and even artists that we continue to meet, just for them to work out of. And we plan on putting state-of-the-art equipment there, having all the resources there, and like since we know what to do with content, we have cameras and stuff. Exactly. Making the content too, because it's just
a lot of people don't know
it's not
what
used.
It all takes,
yeah,
how to make quality content. You may know how to shoot a video and do a little editing, but there's marketing behind it and like I said, quality. That's a big thing too. But yeah, I'm not sure why the scene's like that, but that's why I just started doing everything myself. And like I said, stop paying for studio time because unfortunately everyone just wants money from you so that they can do their own thing, but then they're not doing anything with their own thing. No one wants to see anyone else win. So that's why it's good to have a solid team around you.
Would you ever go back to a studio?
If it was a professional, like a good studio where people I trust recommend it, I've always wanted to, because honestly, I've never recorded in like a real professional studio where there's like a mixing board and stuff like that. Everything I do is myself. The studios I did record in were like at people's houses that they made, like studios. So I'd definitely be down, because then I could actually work with an engineer. That's the part I hate about doing it myself, is having to stop what I'm doing, mix, okay, adjust some stuff, okay, does this sound good, does that sound good, okay, now I gotta go back and spit some more bars, or do my hook, or do my ad-libs, or whatever I have to do. It's annoying having to go back and forth, which is why I reached out to DB too, and he reached out to me, and hopefully he can be that person for me to help me out, and we can start growing, and I can start growing CutWGold as a team. take a little bit of stress off of my shoulders as far as making the songs, and then also helping him make money at the same time and helping the team make money once it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna say I've mentioned it to you before, but one of the guys that we had on, Frankie, he works at Life Sound Studio, and
Sounds familiar.
well, I've told you about it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they always have like a lot of YSL was there for like South by, and like Big X the Plug was there. They have like bigger artists there, and then one of their head engineers, like 8-time Grammy winner or something like that. But they're what you want.
Yeah.
And then I've
And since we have a connection with him too, like we can help you get in there and like, you know, get something going. Cause I mean,
That'd be dope.
he even like us talking to him, cause he's the GM there, and that's actually where we're going next week to shoot a bunch of pods with some of his artists and stuff. And just like when we walked in there the first time, it's just like what you want from a studio. Very clean, very dope ambiance. You got your chairs and stuff, and then you got like the professional equipment. You go into the recording room, you know, you can't even hear in there. It's like what you want, and it's like strictly business, and it's not like the mom and pop, like, oh, like, and there's nothing wrong with like going to someone's house and recording, but it's like at the same time, if you're gonna pay money, like, why not go somewhere that's gonna have what you need and the resources too? Because I feel like there's people probably charging what they would charge for just like a at-home studio because they just want to make the money. Meanwhile, this is a studio that could charge way more, and they're
Take your
not.
sound to the next
You know what I
level.
mean?
but they're all about like helping people grow. Because there's another thing that they said that they help artists with. Well, I don't remember what it was called.
It's called EPK, which
EPK.
stands for Electronic Press Kit. You've heard of that?
I've seen that. I haven't looked too much into it.
He said that's like a big thing a lot of artists here and a lot of artists in general don't have, and that's like one of the biggest things to help you grow. And they help you because it's basically like, because he was like, companies don't go to like your Instagrams or your Twitters, any of that. To like
I'm
look how
sure
big
they
you are.
get you
Like they
that.
look at your EPK, and that's basically like your
Like a
Instagram.
resume?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he helps they help artists there like build that.
Yeah, and that's the
it's-
thing. I
it's-
need coaching like
yeah.
that, and I teach myself everything.
Because
so-
what I was gonna say was, from the outside looking in, at the beginning, I just the vibe. I mean, I could be 100% wrong, but just the vibe I got from you was like, I guess you weren't open minded about like a lot of things.
like when I first started making them.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah. Like you didn't want help. You thought you knew it all, or
yeah,
whatever
I
the case was.
I was a fucking dickhead.
Because even then, when I told you about Life Sound, you wouldn't like give it a chance.
yeah,
But that was also going to say is like, with you trying to do CutWGold, you just kind of see that you kind of have to, with anything you do, you need a team. You can't do it all by yourself.
and you need a solid team. And the thing with that, I'm glad you mentioned it. It was just being around the wrong people. You know, being around cocky people and wrong situations, getting put into bad situations because of it, and yeah, it turned me into a person that I wasn't. And unfortunately, it reflected in my music, and that's why. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I made trash ass music when I first started.
I mean, everybody does.
Yeah,
It's just
if
part.
you
That's part
can't
of
admit
it.
it, then you're not growing. Like
Yeah.
honestly, if you
I
can't
mean,
admit it.
that's even like us with the content. Like it wasn't where it is now, and then obviously you can keep improving. Like on the last podcast, like I had a little hiccup in the conversation, and it's like Carl's business partner gives you coaching. It's like you got to take the coaching and apply it, because if you don't apply it, you're not trying to grow or be great with it. And speaking of which, I just pulled up a guest we're gonna have on in the future, her electronic press kit, and basically like just to kind of give you an example of like what it is. I'll show you too, just so you can look. But it's like,
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, so it's like basically like it has like your so you have like your stream numbers, like your biggest songs, your biggest guests, like whatever that is. Then you keep going down. You have like your social media reach, and like for hers, it's from like June, and it's like live tracked, and then it has her contact information. And and what's cool too, so when she messaged us, she was like, hey, like I love what y'all are doing, would love an interview.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'll send you my EPK, and it was cool because we knew what that was because of meeting Frankie.
But you never seen.
But I've never seen one, and then now we have like an
pretty
example of
dope.
like what one looks like. So whenever you get the time, like it's very important. I mean, it's essentially like a pitch deck for artists, because I mean we've talked about making a pitch deck for the company, and you need like stuff like that with data, what's being tracked, like all that stuff if you're really trying to get into certain doors. Because you show up to somebody, even if you don't have the sound they're looking for, or like you're not making the music like they want to listen to, if you show up with these numbers and like you're serious about like yourself, there somebody's gonna give you a chance just because like, oh damn, he came prepared like with numbers and he's marketing and branding himself. So definitely like to you and any artist listening, like get on that EPK like that. I feel like that's
very professional.
Very
and
professional.
like people want to see profession.
Nice. Yeah. I can definitely agree that look nice and shit.
So.
Can anybody make that, or how does that work? Do y'all know?
I don't know if there. I'm sure there is a strategic way to do it.
Yeah,
that's
all.
I don't know. I don't know what all goes into it. I don't know. I'm sure anybody can do it, but I'm sure there's also like a It's just like content. Like anybody could do content, but there's a strategic way to like go about it, posting, algorithm, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's like a strategic way to do it.
I feel like if you have those three things, like your main songs, your stream numbers, your social media reach, and then like a business card type, contact thing at the end. I feel like that's all you need,
That reminds me of what we were talking about the other day. The what are they called? Like the dot cards and stuff like that, where it has all your information. I've been thinking about getting one of those lately because I mean, it's a lot easier to. Like Tribe actually gave me some advice whenever we're messaging each other on Instagram because I asked them, I was interested, how did y'all go about getting more shows and stuff like that? And they said people get sent music every day on the internet, but it's different when you show up in person and they meet you and then they vibe with you in person, which is honestly how I got all my opportunities that I'm getting now, is because I went out to events and met people in person and stuff like that. So it's just all about getting out there and showing people who you are, and just being genuine, being yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not. That's one thing that I made the mistake when I was younger. But now it took me a few years, but I'm comfortable with who I am and where I'm at.
How has it been for you? Because it's like it's been like because CJ asked me yesterday, he was like, because he follows you, and he was like, he's been going pretty serious now. He was like, it's been like a year, right? I was like, yeah, about a year and a half. But before that, like, you would do music, and I never took you serious because it's hard for me to take people serious.
I didn't take myself serious.
Just because it's like people do it, then they stop, and then do it, then they stop, or they'll do it and just stop completely. And that's with anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't really take you serious. And then, like, once you started, obviously, you could tell when I started taking you serious because I started, like, telling you stuff. But how has it been, like, ever since you got serious? How's this whole thing been for you? Because you've gained a lot of traction pretty fast, and especially for people who've been doing it a while. Because there's people who've been doing it a while and haven't made a dime on Spotify. Yep. But so like, how's this all like been for you?
So, I mean, obviously it feels great seeing all the growth and stuff like that. Like you said, I started taking it seriously probably about a year ago. Back when I made a little EP for SoundCloud. That was back when I was only using SoundCloud still to distribute my music. And I started promoting my Instagram more and just looking for ways to get more followers and stuff like that, and then just reaching out to people on different venues. There's this one DJ out in LA that helped me learn how to like market my music and stuff like that. I mean, nothing's free, of course. You're not going to invest in yourself. People aren't going to invest in you. But so I put a little bit of money. I've always been putting a little bit of money. I save like probably at least $250 a month to put towards my music, whether it's marketing or whether it's used to have to pay for studio time, and now I don't have to worry about that. So most of the time it's just marketing. But I make sure I dedicate a certain amount every month to grow somehow. I would like to see my Instagram, like my ad insights, whenever I see the numbers slowly going up, like that makes me feel good. And I know people are watching, so now it's at the point, okay, how do I get all of them to hit the follow button now? Because they're looking at my page. So now that's where I'm at that point, so where I'm at that marketing.
We might have another way to help you.
Yeah.
It's cost
it's like
300 something
like
bucks,
380 or 400, but it's like
we
you'll
might
have
have
it for 6 months.
Hey, if they're taking work off of my hands, where I don't have to be on my phone all the time marketing my own shit, then that is well worth it.
Yeah, we might have a way to help you. So
there's also a lot of scammers out there. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, there's a lot of scammers.
A ton, bro.
Be careful.
Very.
They hit you up on Instagram and they
bro.
Just look into them. Don't go sending anybody money and don't get bot plays. I've been played and gotten bot plays, but as long as you have your artists for Spotify and you track your stuff and you see, you're like, okay, well, they're not legit, cut them off, block them. But
I didn't know that was a thing.
Just do your research. Yeah, no, there's.
I mean, I knew like bot plays was a thing, but I didn't know like it showed on Spotify and you can like block them and whatnot.
If they ever, it'll show you. So your plays will spike really quick. You'll get like 2,000 plays in one day, and then you'll get nothing for the next like week or so. That's how you know.
What does that do for them?
Those bots. They charge you. So if anyone ever hits you up and they say that they can guarantee you a certain amount of streams, it's bullshit. That's bots. You can't guarantee somebody amount of streams. So they'll slide in your DMs and be like, hey, bro, $40, I'll get you 40,000 streams on Spotify, blah, blah. And if you don't know and you don't do the research, paying $40, you think you're doing good. Oh, yeah, but then when it comes time for you to get your royalties, well, all these plays are coming from India or, somewhere that doesn't pay any royalties, really, and you get, like, $1, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
I also feel like doing that type of stuff, like, fucks up your account. Yeah. Because, like, it's like no organic growth, and I feel like these Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, like the system recognizes that, and I feel like they kind of block your content, if that makes sense. Like you get shadow blocked.
Yeah, shadow ban. That's what they call it. And unfortunately, they find ways around it. And nowadays, I notice that they'll make their Instagrams look real professional, but then they'll still hit you up and try to do some shady stuff. But if you look at their Instagram page, it doesn't promote any of that.
Our shit goes straight to the spam, bro. Like I don't know, like I didn't do anything for our account, but I think ever since we changed it to like a really professional business account, like Instagram auto filters it for you.
So mine did that too, like where your content isn't shown to everybody. Like, and yeah, that happened to me for like a week, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, blah, blah. And I Googled it, and so I think it is a shadow ban. I don't know. It randomly happens sometimes. So what you do is you uninstall the app. I waited like a day and a half, and then I reinstalled it, and then re-logged in, and then after that, my traction was right back to normal.
Well, he's talking about people like hitting you up.
Oh, people hitting
yeah, so like it would go straight to the spam.
So like when people DM you and they're like, hey, for example, people DM us and be like, hey, like, want to do your short form or whatever, and it's like it goes straight to the spam. Like if I go check like my spam, I'll see like 20 messages of like kind of rinse and repeat same messages, but like all like
say the same shit,
real organic, like real people or even like new followers that they'll like actually go to our inbox. So then like when they go there, it's like, oh, these people are, actually trying to work and they're real. They're not like just somebody trying to make a quick buck or some robot online. Yeah. So
that's smart to have that filter. I need to turn that on then because I be getting a shit ton of spam. That's what messes up my account or messed it up that one time where I was getting so much spam, and then I would have like spam comments and shit. So I had to uninstall the app and then fix the problem after that to where everything's all legit and I don't have to worry about all that fake bot shit.
So what advice do you have for just up and coming artists or people who just want to start making music?
Main thing, just realize it costs money. Like if you really want to take it serious, like it is going to cost you money. Invest in yourself, just making sure you don't invest into the wrong people or to the wrong things. Do your research. I'm a big person on research. As far as preaching, like, if you want to know something about it, then YouTube it. You can learn anything on YouTube nowadays. So marketing, everything like that, like just want to learn and be willing to invest money into the right sources, of course. But just know that you're going to have to invest in yourself. Unfortunately, nothing comes free. It'd be awesome if we could just make songs and get paid off it and not have to worry about bills, but that's not how it works. So I'd say just invest in yourself, save up, put money to the side, and just consistency, I feel like, is key with anything. Whenever you are in that zone or mode to make music, make sure that you do, if you have the resources, of course. Even if you don't have a studio or something, do a voice memo or something just so you remember that, because it's real easy to lose that thought. I've had that happen where I'm like, oh shit, I have a good idea. This is going to sound good. And then I get in front of the mic because it's like a week later and I'm like, man, it's not coming out the same. Like I'm just looking at my lyrics and so.
Do the little melodies and
the melodies aren't the same. I'm not doing it the same as I was at the time because I was hearing it a different way or saying a different way, whatever may be the case. So I'm definitely use my voice memos and my notes a lot because I have shitty memory.
I know.
Probably from smoking. Yeah.
More than that.
Yeah.
More than that.
Years catching up with me.
Yeah, more than
that. So shitty memory. That's a well-known thing.
So this motherfucker like same thing 5 different times.
I was like, hey bro, what are you doing this weekend? I'm in Dallas.
I was like,
Hey,
oh shit, I forgot. Oh shit, I forgot. I'm like, bruh, I done told you.
Life has been going fast lately, man. I'd be forgetting things.
Yeah,
it's just like whenever I want to like do something or hit someone up, then I'll send you a bunch of messages at once just because I know I'll probably be busy later.
That's good though.
Yeah, so I just want to get everything off my mind right then and there, and then whenever you have time, you can read all of it and get back to me.
Yeah, I have friends like that even like friends I'm trying to do business with, like same thing. Like they're just busy. Everyone's busy, so I feel like too now, like, and then obviously like you're a father, so like your responsibilities are completely different from people that don't have children. Exactly. And I guess haven't really talked about that a whole lot. Like I guess how's that been for you?
As far as being a father?
Yeah, and just like with great. Like music and all that stuff in your career.
I mean, I don't know if I already said it earlier, but it's one of the main things that got me to start making more music without cuss words.
Gotcha.
But as far as becoming a dad, that's what changed my whole perspective on life and stop being such an asshole and like being more grateful for stuff and just being appreciative and just stop blaming others and just, you're the only one that you can blame. At the end of the day, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, like, why is my life going the way it is? Like, and how can I fix it? That's the thing. Like, so that's one thing that my daughter did for me for sure is made me become a man, I guess.
Held accountable, holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that happen too.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen too that like mature you in a way. Like, and it's always like some life changing event. It's like getting married, getting in a serious relationship, having children, like all that stuff. It's like, all right, now I got it. Like Cayman, I mentioned him a few times on this podcast. Like he just had his son, and like me and him been talking. He was just like, dude, I'm more motivated than ever to get really working and stuff, and like being really intentional in my time, because he was like, it's not just me and my girl. It's like me, my girl, and my son now. Like I got to provide and change his life.
Exactly.
So and I think that's important.
And that's the thing right there is I don't want my daughter to have to worry about working or anything whenever she gets to my age. Kind of like how my dad did for me, and I feel like every good parent should do for their kids. And that's when you get to the point where you got a rich family because you keep on building up. And that's the end game.
Yeah.
One of the last two things for me. One, how do you get the music scene of Austin to come together and work with each other? Because there is a lot of talent here. Yeah. But like you said, nobody wants to work with each other.
Yep.
But people just kind of have to realize that, like, you have to work with like no matter what you do, you have to work with each other. Because at the end of the day, you don't know who they know, and they don't know who you know. And then if it is for music, you do a song with them, you gain fans from their fan base. They do a song with you, they gain fans from your fan base, and you're just helping each other grow.
Exactly. But
so how do you like get them just to come together and just do it?
I feel like just giving more opportunities to local artists, I guess, if they're willing, like maybe finding out ways to host free events or like for them, not free for the public, but, free for an artist to perform at, kind of like Mike D does with Oscar Blue, but making it bigger somehow, maybe somewhere downtown to where artists are more willing to come together and, you just got to get them together in the same place, and it has to be a good vibe. You don't want it to be a bad environment or ghetto environment, something where bad things can happen for no reason. You want a good vibe and just be able to get good people together that are willing to work. And I think it's a hard thing to do in this city. I've thought about that a lot. That's why I'm trying with the CutWGold thing, and he's honestly one of the first ones, DB, as far as producers, that's actually like, I'm willing to like work and grow as a team.
Well, it's just hard because it's a little bit different because he's from Houston area.
Yep.
They all help each other out.
Yep.
You got Atlanta. They all help each other out.
Acting bad. Like if, you look at my Instagram on one of my last posts or stories, they're all shouting each other out, and you need a team like that. And that's what they do.
But like
YSL.
you see like the cities that are already made, and they're made for a reason because everybody just comes together and help each other out and put each other on.
And then they get back.
But I was gonna ask this earlier, but I guess now's a better time. Then how do you go about saying no to people when they ask to do a song with you, or if you want to get on their song? Because you can't say yes to everybody.
Yeah.
Just because it has to make sense, especially like the more in your career that you grow.
Yeah.
You just can't say yes to everybody.
Exactly. And then after a point, I mean, the verses aren't free anymore.
Yeah.
I guess you just gotta. For me, I would, because I've had artists obviously that hit me up and ask for features and stuff like that. The first thing I do is I go and look at your social media, see like if you're posting every day, if you're actually trying, how the quality is in your music and stuff like that. And if I see that you're trying to put the work in, maybe I don't care about the followers. Maybe you only have like 80, 60 followers, but if I see you got good content and you're working your ass off, then sorry, I just went blank for a second.
No, I mean that's just kind of how I am because we said it in the Matt Choi podcast. I've always said, if you have 5 followers, 500, 5,000, 5 million, whatever, if I see you putting in the work and I see you doing it and you are consistent, I'm going to give you the time of day to come on my platform and speak whatever you're doing.
Because there's a lot of accounts out there with fucking 50, 60,000 followers, but they have 2 posts and they're fake followers, you know? So I just look for legitimacy and then a good vibe, like, and then I'll message you or, you know, just try to make a casual conversation with you, not about the business. And if you just keep asking me like about money or, you know, stuff like that, then we'll block you or just won't respond. But if you can have a good conversation with me, then I'll start opening up that door to, okay, well, I can send you an open verse. I've got beats for days in my phone and on my laptop. I mean, I probably have enough beats to make like 5 or 6 projects. I want to, like I said, find the right people to work with and then work on those beats with them and then obviously save some for myself. But I've got a catalog of beats ready for when I do find those right people. So
yeah, relationships are so important. I mean, that's part of the reason why we've been able to get some of the guests we've had on just from meeting them and them seeing like what we're doing and just kind of like, you know, just being super genuine off rip. You're super genuine with someone off rip. Then you start talking about what you do or they start asking you what you do. And then they're like, oh, okay. Like everyone is normally willing to help someone out that they have like a real personal connection with. And a lot of the times, at least in just content space in general, music or what we're trying to do, like there's a lot of stuff that's very like transactional. Like people are just like, what can you do for me? Exactly. And then what can I offer in return? Instead of it being like, no, this person's dope. I fuck with them and who they are. I'm just going to work with them. And whatever happens from it happens, but at least we're doing something dope and it's, you know, it could benefit both of us. And I feel like that's just how stuff has to be looked at. I mean, even with the Austin music scene, like, no artist here besides like a few like Quinn FN and then like you had Noah North back in the Gap that were like doing all right. But there's no C-list artists
Houston,
from here.
But as far as Austin, and that's one thing that I've told like the old group of people that I hung out with, like I want us to be on that level.
Yeah.
And they never understood that. They're like, oh, well, what's wrong with just being local? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want, exactly. But I just always had that mindset to where, like, I see Drake performing on stage or something. I'm like,
selling out arenas.
Like that could be me right there. Like, I just always felt like that, like in my heart. Like, I could do that shit.
And just making generational, like, money. Like, Drake's generations of kids, 4 or 5 generations of kids will never have to do anything because of his catalog and the royalties he'll continue to make. Like,
it's just a different, it's a different gap in money. Like, you can still have fun and make music locally and still make a living, but it's a different living that I've just always seen myself at.
And I think that's too what we've had to realize too. Like a lot of people's like dreams and visions aren't like aligned. So like if you're working with people like that and they're not trying to elevate together or with you, if you're like, you know, trying to get to a certain place, or even if people, your peers are, you know, trying to get to a certain place, it's like, I use it as motivation. Like we have some friends that are like doing the damn thing with, you know, their businesses or whatever they do content creation wise. And it's like, we're striving to get there too. So like, at least in a sense, if you're really trying to, you know, change your life, that should just only motivate you instead of just being like, oh no, we're doing enough, you know, like, you know, it obviously just depends on what you want, but I definitely think that's like important, and, you know, surrounding yourself with the right, you know, people in your corner. Also too, speaking on the artists from here, I just think like Austin just needs at least one person that is like popping, and I think and then people just gotta like help him or her and funnel that person, because I feel like there's a lot of like crabs in a bucket or gatekeeping. It's like, oh, like, nah, fuck that. Like, they're not going to make it out before me. So I'm not going to like help promote them. Like, I feel like show that love. Like, if you see someone like blowing up and you know they have potential and they have like 50K, 100K, and they're really starting to pop off, like, share their stuff, try to collab with them, work with them. And then, because all it takes is that one artist, like he says, like, we get a Travis Scott or something from Austin, then more people are gonna pay attention to the city. They're gonna be like, this person came from here. What else is here?
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, like, look at No Jumper. I mean, they were interviewing like X and all them before they blew up. You never know who.
Exactly.
The artists that y'all get on. I've seen them. They're great talent.
Yeah.
You never know who's gonna blow up, and it can take any day as long as they're putting the work in. But
Everything comes back full circle.
Yeah.
Literally. It just stems to just being a good person, man.
Yeah.
Just being a good person and just
you do good to the world will do good back to you.
yeah.
So that's one thing I've been trying to focus on.
Do you have anything?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned Kid Cudi earlier, but who would be 3 artists or producers you'd want to work with in the future? You can do a separate list for both too if you want.
Okay, if it's artists, definitely Kid Cudi for sure. It's always been my favorite artist, still is. Kendrick Lamar, just because, I mean, that man's never put out a bad project, and I'm sure that'd be a great brain to pick. Trying to think of someone newer coming up. It's a tough one. It would be my third one. Maybe J. Cole.
My guy.
So Kendrick, Kid Cudi, and J. Cole. Yeah, that's going to be my 3 artists.
Oh, yeah.
Producers, I'd have to go Metro for sure. What's the dude's ATO Jacob? Fuck with his sound. And then there's another producer over there that I can't think of. They have a lot of dope producers. Over there.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta producers.
They're running it
for sure.
for real.
Yeah, no, they're running that shit. They started that shit. For sure.
What is, I guess, I mean, he's not really he's a producer in a different world, but what does like Cole Bennett count as?
Cole Bennett is just like a creative director,
Yeah,
but like
I guess that'd be a creative director.
like he's like the definition of a creative director. Like not only like with the music videos, but like just really bridging the gap of like Cole Bennett is so hard to explain because he's like someone that is like our age, but he brought music videos back to the forefront, and he also still puts on like artists you've never even heard of.
Exactly, like Juice WRLD and all that.
Yeah.
Shit. That's honestly how I found out about
Uzi.
Juice is when I saw.
That's how Uzi got big.
Was it Cole Bennett?
Yep.
That's how a lot of people have gotten
He didn't do a
big.
music video. Well, hey, that's not. I mean, that's not how he got big. I think Uzi got big off of SoundCloud. So basically,
Yeah, so
SoundCloud blew a lot of them out, too.
so Uzi and Cole Bennett, that was gonna be the first Lyrical Lemonade Festival, right?
yeah, so he basically like Cole Bennett's always like wanted to not only do music videos, he's wanted to throw shows, festivals, do the whole deal.
Yeah.
He booked a venue in Chicago for $8,000. That's all the money he had. Just booked it. At the time, Lil Uzi wasn't super big yet. Hits him up on like Instagram or whatever, some social media, and it's like, hey, I got this venue. Could you perform here? Uzi says yes. Literally a month later, I don't know what song came out. It might have been like P's and Q's. It was one of those songs early, but it like he like blew up, like went crazy.
P's was one of
and
the
then
first
like
ones,
Cole's able to sell it out, and then since then that kind of helped Cole's career. Plus, you know, him collabing with like people like Famous Dex and like
Shout out
shout out Dex, and
Dexter.
then like with Juice WRLD, like they helped each other. Like Cole Bennett makes these amazing videos from Juice WRLD, and Juice WRLD's blowing up as well.
songs,
so like they're
like, that no one's
coexisting.
ever heard.
You know,
Yeah.
I think
Rest in peace.
yeah.
Juice.
So people like that, I think, are really important and slept on. Like one of my friends, Ralph Canono, he's like really, really good with music videos and makes like very high end music videos.
Told you about him too.
Yeah.
That's the one. He's just. I think Cam messaged him, but he's just a busy dude.
He's from Austin.
No, that's the one that she
from
wanted a
Lubbock.
music video from because he said he wanted to do the new artist music?
So he's basically like, because he actually knows Cole Bennett too, and he's been trying to do. He's trying to like go in that direction. Like he's worked with artists and made videos from them, but he's trying to like brand himself and like work with artists and people's music that he likes. Gotcha. So I've always sent him stuff, and we're just trying to plan it to where he can come to Austin for like a month, damn near, and like just work with people and shoot. Yeah, and just shoot because he's nice. So I just think people like that are key, man. Like we need more people like that, and you know, it's important to have the producers, the artists, the engineers, the creative directors, and then like even stuff like this, like shows and stuff to voice and talk. Like everything has to coexist to really like make everything work. Because without something, then you know that area could be lacking in a sense. So
one missing piece. Yeah. I feel like that's with any business. You're missing one of your pieces, like let's say a restaurant, your server or your cook or something like that. And then take that with any business.
Last but not least, what are your personal goals, company goals, and music goals for the rest of the year?
So for the rest of the year, I've been talking with the A&R that I met from a show that I performed at in Houston about a month ago. His name's Scott Morris, but I'm supposed to be performing at Atlanta in September, and then next year, April, in New York, and then Dallas in August coming up. I'll be performing, I think it's the last Sunday of the month or the one right before that. So I've got some shows coming up, and then obviously just looking into getting more shows, and then making more consistent money off of my streams. Which I've been seeing go up and up every month, so that's good. And just the end goal, of course, is to just make music and do shows and not have to work a 9 to 5. This is what I love to do and what I'd like to do every day, and just focus on that. So and build a team at the same time.
Yep. That's all it's about. Yep. Before we hit this off, do you have any shout outs you want to give or anything for us?
Shout out to the Acting Bad group. I already shouted them out. EC Main, he's the person who gave me my first shot to perform for him in YC. That's Young Clean. So shout out to them for sure. Shout out to Carte for teaching me a bunch of stuff. He's a dope engineer here in Austin. Shout out DB. He's a local producer here. He came through with me. And shout out Antonio too. He's an upcoming DJ, real good friend of mine. But that's pretty much it for shout outs. Shout out to God always.
Pay respects. We'll have all his description down below on how it is. Go give him a listen, go give him a follow, all that good stuff on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, all that good stuff. Go run it up. Peace, family. We take care of family around here. But that'll do it for another episode of Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Back in different cities, but some bitches won't know kidneys building bridges.